are live. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 410, your once-week live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm James Mikey Miller, I guess, according to my most recent video. We've got a guest co-host on the show. Who are you, my good friend?
Hello, I am Adam Patrick Murray, head of video over at PC World and host of the Full Nerd podcast and Dual Boot Diaries podcast.
Excellent. Welcome. Yeah, you've been on the show a couple of times, but always great to have you back on.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, tech, gaming, servers, home lab, all kinds of stuff. We do tend to get into the weeds, but it's always a good time. All super chats are read on the air, so long as they will not permanently demonetize my channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. This episode is brought to you by Meter and Verta. More on them later in the episode. And last but not least, if you'd like to join the exclusive Discord server for Craft Computing, chat with myself as well as all the other hosts, the only way you can do that is by joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, not only can you join the super secret chat, but the even more super secret after party that happens every single week after Talking Heads.
Wow.
Live
I always forget
chat.
there's an after party.
Yeah, there's an after party. It's always a good time. And seeing as how we're 3 hours early tonight, it's going to be a nice long after party, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Welcome, welcome, everyone. Let's see. Reverend. Woohoo. Cracking open one of my favorites in the chat. Reverend, longtime mod of the channel. Mm-hmm. Cracking open a 2020 Bourbon County Barrel-Aged Stout from Goose Island, 14.6%.
Oh, yeah. That'll grow some hair on your chest.
Yes, it will. The 2020 in particular is one of my favorite all-time from them. It's an absolutely incredible bottle. I'm hoping that our recent history, you might not know this, but we have a history as of late. Every time you're on the show, a brewery dies. And I took you to...
That's not a good thing.
I know it's not. It's not a good thing. I swear, like, as soon as we get off the air, you're Thanos snapping these places out of existence, because it only happens when you're on the channel.
Oh, no, I don't like this.
But I took you to one of my favorite spots this last week, and I'm hoping that doesn't repeat.
Yeah, and I don't remember the name of it, but awesome place. Yeah.
That was Santiam Brewing. A lot of people on the channel, we've talked about it many times before, but yeah, we introduced Adam and producer of the Full Nerd Willis over to Santiam. What'd you think of it? What'd you think of my local watering hole?
It was good. So a British pub theme. You know, the food was really good. Got fish and chips. And then, yeah, I don't remember the name of the beers that I got, but they were both, well, the first one was lighter, but it had a, like, super smoky, like, it was like a smoky lager or something like that, and it was just like, wow, that was
I don't remember ever seeing that one. Let me see if I can look
actually,
that.
I'm sure I have it on my Untapped. It's one of my recent reviews. And then the second one was a, like, I wanted to get a porter. There were 2 porters that they had on tap, but they were both out, and I was just like, oh, no, dang it. And yeah, I don't remember what I got for my second one, so this is why I use Untapped, honestly, mostly just because I don't remember what I drink every time. So I got
is that one is the 2 beers that you had are not on their online list.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So I found it, the smoky one was a Lady Ember Grodziski. Is that, I think, how you pronounce it? I've never heard of a Grodziski type of beer before.
Yeah.
And then
it's actually new to me as well. Like that was a real pleasant surprise.
Yeah, that was nice. And the second one was their light lager, the JFK domestic beer, because they didn't have the porter. So I went simple, and because I was driving back to Portland afterwards, so didn't want to go too heavy.
Yeah. Yep. That was a good time. We do have a super chat. Circuit Rewind. Vince, longtime friend of the show, and in fact, he's been on the live show a couple times as well. Sends over
nice.
$20. Ep.410 gone because you scheduled this while I'm on the road for the holiday.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're at a little bit of a different time because apparently scheduling co-hosts on a holiday weekend can be a little bit tricky. So.
Yeah. When you need to scrape the bottom of the barrel, you call me up.
You call Adam. That's right.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
I don't have any friends or family to see.
No, that was I had asked him to do it earlier as well, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, always great having you on. And also Vince, Circuit Rewind has a pretty fantastic YouTube channel of his own. If you like retro hardware and tinkering, go check out Circuit Rewind.
Nice. That's awesome.
But anyway, you were in town before we get too far, I haven't even opened my beverage yet.
I know, I was about to say.
I almost got ahead of myself.
I've got one too. What do you got, man?
So, in honor of Husky Hate Week, I am a longtime Oregon Duck. I was born in Eugene. I've been a Duck fan literally as long as I remember. And in honor of Husky Hate Week, because we play the Huskies this week, I'm having the Hop Valley Gangrene, named after the Gangrene 1994 Oregon defense.
Okay.
So, esoteric reference, but it's
it doesn't sound like a good thing, but hopefully it does taste good.
And to all of my friends in Washington, sorry you have to live there.
Oh, but well, I have one of my favorite local breweries, which actually I brought you to when you were in town. Temescal Brewery.
Yes.
They have a new black lager, which I'm a huge fan of black lagers. It's called Fear of the Dark.
Nice.
So that's my jam. Easy drinking, but lots of good flavor.
Yeah.
So
I do like a good dark lager.
Yeah.
Little roasty without getting, double-digit percents usually.
Yeah. Well, cheers, Jeff.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Elmo with the $150 super chat.
Look at that.
Thank you
Bringing
so
the
much,
money.
Elmo.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Elmo BLD1 sounds lonely. It needs a friend. How about Elmo BLD2? Yes, that sounds like a good set of names for the microcloud. So there's a story to that one. In fact, I told you a little bit about this. My Patreon backers bullied me into buying that X79 8-node system that I showed off when I was here.
Yep.
And the numbers that they were starting to send me started getting crazy, and they're like, well, do we get to name them? And I said, tell you what, 150 a pop. And so we sold 5 naming rights, and so this is number 6. So I've now named 6 of the nodes.
Okay, awesome.
So thank you to all of you fine folks. There are 2 nodes left available to be named. So if you guys want some naming rights, you can name it whatever you want.
Dang, that's awesome. Well, as long as it's not demonetizing your channel, right?
I mean, I could blur the name. They'd get the satisfaction of knowing it's behind the censor.
Actually, okay, or like a black bar, Yeah.
Yeah, literally put the censored bar in.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny style. Yeah, that'd be
great. I dig it.
Well, cheers, sir.
Yeah. Also, I get to see how those glasses are made.
Yeah.
Really cool process.
Yeah, no, these are super cool. Craftcomputing.store. Get one for the holidays.
Are they? Do you have a sale going on?
I don't have a sale going on.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those weird people who just tries to make my merch affordable, and I don't have a lot of margin on it. Like honestly, I probably come about close to breaking even every month, but it's worth it just to get the merch out there. It's fun.
Yeah.
I get to do cool things with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah. Anyway, you were in town this last week.
I was.
And it wasn't just to see me and partake of some excellent beer. You actually had a purpose. What in the world were you doing in my neck of the woods?
I went up to the Intel Hillsboro campus, specifically Jones Farm, and I had never been up there before, but you've been there before.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was my first time. We got invited by Intel to come meet with their performance. What is it? No, I can't remember the name of it. It's like the Performance Lab Team or something like that. I don't remember their official internal name, but it was a chance to the goal was to talk to the team behind the people who run the benchmarks for pre-release hardware. And that team is responsible for all sorts of testing, and just for whatever like a purpose that they have. So the head at the time of that team was or that we met with, Hannah Colette. So did an interview over on PC World YouTube channel. Please go watch it. It's a really good interview because I pressed her on some good questions about like, hey, what is the job of your team? Like, I know our jobs for benchmarking. What is your job as an internal benchmarker? Is it just to make your CPU look good? So the goal was twofold. Part of it was to have an open discussion around benchmarking, testing what's valuable. They want to know how we test, and to tell you the truth, I am so early on in my benchmarking journey that I wanted to know how they test and just have these kind of discussions. And most of the time, I'm talking with people like you, somebody else in the media who is doing benchmarking. And so having a chance to meet with other benchmarkers, other people doing this kind of hardware testing, even though they're behind the scenes, was just like, oh wow, you're just like us. We have some of the same arguments. We got into we had started to debate about Shadow of the Tomb Raider and the use of that benchmark, and even internally they had their own internal arguments for and against. And like we literally could have talked about that for hours. Like the biggest downside is that we just didn't have enough time to get into all of the details. And they were on the other side. The other goal was to help influence upcoming reviewers guides. So every product that comes out has some sort of reviewers guide, and they wanted to get feedback about what we like, what they're doing, what we find useful, all that kind of stuff. So I think it was super beneficial for a lot of reasons, but once again, like, I wish we would have had more time. Like, we were there for all day. We did end up filming some videos, so that took a little bit of time, but like, we literally could have just been there for like 2 days, like just talking about all this stuff, because there's just so much to talk about. So
it is super interesting, especially like you said, talking to someone basically doing our job, but internally for pre-release stuff. Hey, what are the characteristics of this particular CPU or whatever it might be? How does it perform under certain circumstances? What could we possibly do better? What are we not doing well? How well does this scale? What are the voltage and frequency curves that we should be aiming for in the release product? Like, a lot of that is what they kind of do internally. But you brought up benchmarking, and I don't think we talk enough about benchmarking. Like, we present benchmarks. You and I, we benchmark stuff. We post numbers.
All the time. Always be benchmarking.
Graphs. Right. Always be benchmarking. We post the graphs, and then we go, yeah, this video card is 13% better than this video card. But that always to me feels like a gross simplification of the entire process. And not only that, but it doesn't tell the whole story, because you can benchmark 25 different games and you will get 25 different results, because those 25 different games use 13 or 15 different game engines. They have implemented different features that take advantage or maybe don't take advantage of certain features within the hardware that we're benchmarking. Just turning a game to Ultra doesn't tell you the whole story. And I almost feel sometimes that isolating all of your variables takes away from the actual useful information, because gaming doesn't happen in a bubble. The end result that we're trying to do is play games, and sometimes it's as quickly as possible, sometimes it's as pretty as possible, and sometimes it's a mix in between. And when the only numbers that we present are, yes, A better than B, why?
Yeah, well, and so this team is responsible for both desktop and laptop or mobile, and it was funny because a lot of the discussions I was like, hey, I need to make a line between the two, because for desktop it is actually easier to just isolate a variable, because somebody can just go out in a store, buy a CPU, plop it in a system. In the laptop, it's not like that. Like, I actually used to argue with the late great Gord Mong all the time about this. He used to intentionally review a specific CPU or GPU in a laptop, which is interesting in theory, but I was always like, I don't know how useful that is, because even if the benchmarks show like, oh man, this CPU, this man Lunar Lake is just like killing it. It's just like it wipes the table, performance, whatever. But then you're looking at a laptop that it's in, and it's a crappy laptop with a crappy keyboard. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You don't want that laptop. So like, it really is funny how it's kind of different depending on what you're doing. And same thing for handhelds, right?
Yeah.
It's like you could have, like, I personally am actually right. I personally am not that interested in a Strix Halo handheld. I mean, I am.
Neither am I. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also like, it's not really what that's used for. And then also you look on the other extreme, the Steam Deck, super underpowered. Steam Machine also looks super underpowered on paper, but guess what? You can still have amazing experiences on it. So like, just benchmarking a key part of it, does not tell the whole story.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Gosh, so much we could pivot in so many different directions.
Oh yeah. We're like on a lazy Susan, just picking our pivot.
That whenever I do handheld reviews, and I haven't done any within probably like the last 6 or 8 months, but I feel that that's going to pick back up probably here early this next year. But I always, like, I will do the performance benchmarking, and I'll go, I think this handheld is aiming for 1080 medium, and so here's the results at 1080 medium. But what I don't do is publish the results from 12 different handhelds to say this handheld is 5% faster than this one, because that doesn't matter. What matters is, can this handheld that I'm holding in my hands right now play the games at an adequate tick? No one outside of 1% of people who performance is the only metric are going to pick a handheld based on the performance, because at the heart of every handheld is the same APU. They're all running some variant of the M or the
Z series,
the Z series, Z2 Ultra, also known as an 8840U or an AI 370. It's all the same chip. And so there's variants between them, but not a ton, and they're all within the noise. What I tend to focus on is the ergonomics, the usability, the controls, the software, the actual things that make it a usable device, because that's way more important than bigger number, better on frames. Right.
Yeah. And like, on top of that, when you there's so many ways to benchmark something, right? So if we're going back to the pure performance thing, like, especially on handhelds, it's like, oh, okay, well, do you try to compare it to the Steam Deck? Well, it's like, okay, well, are you limiting resolution to the Steam Deck resolution to get a fair to 1-to-1? Then it's like, okay, which is interesting in a vacuum. It's a bullet point. It's something to test. But also at the same time, I'm probably not going to run a 1080p panel at 1280 by 800.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, well then, you're just looking at a vacuum, but it's not the full picture on that. The other part of it is a lot of people care about battery life. I am actually not one of those people for handhelds that cares about battery life. Most of the time I'm on the couch and it's in the evening, and either I'm unplugged and just play for a couple hours, and it's like, okay, whatever, I'm that's my gaming session for the evening anyway. Or I'm just right next to a wall jack and I just plug in, and I have no problem just playing plugged in the whole time. So like, the only time I really care about battery life is when I travel. And then even then, most of the time I travel, I have access to power in the seat, and even if not, I have a huge power brick that I can plug in.
Yeah, we all travel with like 25,000 milliamp bricks, like every one of us.
Yeah, so just like not that I should discount it, but like I've always tried to make it very clear, like I don't test battery life on that because it's just not what I want to cover, and there's plenty of other people who will do that kind of testing. So why waste my time doing that testing when I could be testing something else?
And even within that benchmark of how long does the battery last, how you test how long the battery lasts is a variable unto itself. Where do you set the TDP? Are you playing a YouTube video at 1080p on the handheld? Well, guess what? That's probably not how I'm going to be using the handheld. I'm probably going to be playing games with the handheld. Which game did you play? What processes is it taking advantage of? What's the actual TDP fluctuation within the device?
What operating system are you using?
What operating system? How bright is your screen? What's, are you using Bluetooth headphones? Like there's a whole other thing that is... You can isolate variables all you want, but removing too many variables means you've also removed yourself from reality.
Yeah. So it's complicated. It's very complicated. And it only gets more complicated. Like, that is one of the things that Gordon used to talk about, is like, hey, back in the day, you would get a processor and you're like, oh, is this thing hitting 800 megahertz? Oh, can I overclock it to 1 gigahertz? Okay, I'm just gonna do a little jumper,
Yeah.
It is like, now it's running at a higher clock speed. You know what I mean? Just like there's not many variables. There's no AI testing. There's no undervolting and right. You know what I mean? He's just like, hey, this is the number that I got. This is how it's running, and there's no dynamic tuning. There's no those CPUs back in the day when he started benchmarking didn't even need coolers,
right?
Just like, so yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, they were just ceramic caps.
Yeah.
Jay sends over a member chat, member for 10 months, now drinking a Golden Drac 9000 quadruple at 10.7%.
Wow.
From Brouwerij von Steenberg in Belgium. What's funny is he beat me to the punch because I also have a near 10% Belgian ale that I'm going to be drinking next. So yeah.
And
that
yes,
sounds
Cole.
Delicious, though, Jay.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, Cole, R.I.P. Gordon.
Yes.
Always missing Gordon.
Yep.
But yeah, it's complicated out there, man. That's why, like, now more than ever, like, I'm actually not interested in doing super comprehensive testing. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, take CPUs for example, desktop CPUs. Mm-hmm. Like yes, we do some as part of PC World's review. So the PC World written review usually is like, okay, we have a benchmarking suite and it's pretty generalized. A little bit of content creation, some real light tests, a little bit of gaming. Just to kind of give a overall flavor of what it's like. But then when I do my testing for video coverage, like I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to just dive into like something deeper. Like rather than trying to, like, I'm never going to beat the larger channels, the Steve from Gamers Nexus of the world, who literally has a crew who benchmarks 24 hours a day. I'm the one doing the benchmarks and the content,
it's
right?
Literally
same
me.
thing.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well then I'm not going to, like, competing like that just doesn't make sense. So like I want to try to dig into something specific and also something that I know. Like, I mean, for me, the most interesting benchmarks for me are content creation, just because it's like that's my world. Like Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, like that kind of stuff, DaVinci Resolve. I'm just like, man, I'm really curious to see how that stuff works. But also, I mean, like at the end of the day, who said it? Somebody, there we go. Rizoid in the chat mentions, something I always think about is like with GPUs, typically the more they cost, the better they perform. So no need to watch benchmarks. So,
I mean, yeah, kinda.
Right? So it's like, oh, you usually get more performance for what you pay. I really think most of the people watching benchmarks are to try to compare and contrast between platforms. Like, ooh, on the CPU side, should I go AMD or should I go Intel? Which, what am I going to get for the money kind of thing? On GPU, like, I mean, maybe they're curious about AMD, but for the most part, everybody just buys NVIDIA. So, it's like, okay, well, if you already know you're going to get NVIDIA, then just pay the money for the one that's going to get the best. I
like presenting.
It's hard. Then it's like, what do we do? It's like, if that's what you're going to go do, then.
Yeah, when I do benchmarks or reviews of specific video cards or CPUs or whatever, I really like to show how I imagine that product being used, or a use case that's interesting to me. Not just, hey, how fast does it go? Because that's certainly a metric, yes. But I don't think I've ever bought a video card based on, I need 400 frames per second. What I base it on is, okay, how many zeros are at the end of that video card? As far as price point goes, cool. Well, this is the one that I can afford. That's the one I'm going to buy.
I've always said that too. Like, I feel like there's so many people that are like, oh yeah, best bang for your buck is, I'm just making this up. Imagine somebody's like, oh, best bang for your buck is a 5080, like, oh man, look how much more you get for the price and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's great, but I don't got money for a 5080.
Right.
So
that's
like,
$1,000.
I think, that's great. That's the best price performance leader, but I'm not going to save up my pennies. So I really do think most people, like, say, okay, this is what I'm willing to spend. What's the best I can get within that budget?
Yeah.
And so that's a completely different. So then how do you benchmark for that? Right. Like, really, like, if that's where somebody's starting from, it's like, well, we could benchmark, 6 ways from Sunday, however that phrase is. But it's like, what does that matter?
The video that I published that ended up allowing us to meet each other was my video about, hey, we should match like for like. Why are we benchmarking an RTX 4060 on a 7900 X3D? No one ever is going to make that pairing for gaming, so it's a pointless benchmark to run, other than, yes, we know exactly where the 4060 slots into the hierarchy of graphics card performance now. That's certainly a number, but it doesn't tell a prospective buyer of a 4060 what they should pair it with and what performance they will actually expect on hardware that they buy. I actually did a video about a year ago, or I think earlier this year. I put an RTX 5090 into a super slim ITX case, and I didn't pair
which case?
The Fractal Design Ridge, the vertical 2.5 inch thick. Yeah. I've got a 5090 in there. Why? Because the airflow is side to side in that case, and the blow through cards work perfectly. Oh yeah. And so that's what I built. But what motherboard and CPU did I go with? Well, if I do anything besides a 9950 X3D, I'm just going to bottleneck the ever-loving crap out of the 5090, and I'll lose all my performance, right? Like, it'll perform half as well. So because I wanted to put that build together, and because I wanted to play on that build, I benchmarked the 5090 on the 9950 X3D against the platform that I was using, which was a 16-core Ryzen Mobile, the 7945HX.
Oh, yeah,
on the Minis forum board.
The Minis forum board, yeah. God, I still need to use that for something. I have one. Or I have the X3D version.
Yeah. I also underclocked the... or underpowered the 5090 by 100 watts. So I dropped it to 500 watts instead of 600.
Just like a straight power limit?
Right, yeah, just straight power limit. Yeah. Like, I don't need 600 watts blasting out of this system.
And also, you lost like 2% performance?
Between the 9950 X3D, balls to the wall, everything set to max, and the 7945HX mobile platform, limited to 100 watts on the CPU and limited to 500 watts on the GPU, I lost 4%.
Yep, right. I'm assuming at 4K?
At 4K, yeah. I lost 4%.
Yeah.
Oh no, my games are running at 170 instead of 182.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's 4%. I think
that's
even
way
bigger.
more than 4%, right?
I'm not good at math, though. Don't check my math.
It'd be closer to a 176 versus 170. About 6.5 frames at that. Yeah.
I mean,
but who's counting?
Yeah, right. Honestly, the place I'm most interested in is the low end, because we actually talk about this over on the Full Nerd a lot, where like the low end of the discrete GPU market is getting eaten up by higher end APUs. Like, you know, I mean, Strix Halo is a perfect example, right? That thing performs like a 4060. It's like, I mean, obviously it's not meant for gaming, whatever, but like the idea, the thought experiment of, you know, some sort of APU that has a huge GPU in it.
The top end Strix Halo isn't meant for gaming. They're coming out with a gaming specific SKU that has the full 40 compute unit
supposedly
of graphics, as well as 8 cores on a single CCD. So they're cutting their CPU cost in half. You have the same memory bandwidth, the same share, but you put 32 gigs of shared memory on that platform, and you can potentially put together a device under $1,000. That decimates the low-end desktop market.
Right? Yeah. And to tell you the truth, the first time I saw the video of the Steam Machine, I was like, "Oh, is this it?
It's Strix.
Is that the gaming Strix Halo?" It wasn't. We know now, obviously, but yeah, like I really think that low end. The problem is, though, is that usually low-end buyers aren't the people who are watching benchmark videos on YouTube.
Right. They're the people who have $1,000 and then go out to Costco or Best Buy or whatever else, and they go, I need a gaming PC. And then they walk out with whatever the salesman sells them.
Yeah, I have this story of when I did this video with Gordon. He got in, he like, one of the things we track over on PCWorld.com is like the best-selling laptops over on Amazon. You can literally just search best-selling laptops on Amazon, and it'll give you a page of the best-selling laptops. So we're usually tracking like, okay, well, what are people buying? Just a temperature check. And it's one data point. Obviously, it's just Amazon, but I would consider that probably a good data point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so he had an idea. He's like, hey, what if I get in the highest, or the best-selling gaming laptop that was on the list? And I believe at the time, I don't know if it is, I actually haven't looked recently, but it was an Acer Nitro 5 or V or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I see those pop up all the time. On most popular, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think what it was, and it came with a single channel memory. So like just one populated SODIMM, but it could be upgraded to 2. So first off, he did a video just covering the laptop. You know, just like we do for most laptops that come in. He just did, you know, real quick unboxing and just kind of tour kind of thing. Yeah. And then the second part of it was, hey, here's one thing you can do that's, you know, like how I mean, back in the day, back when, you know, SODIMM was much cheaper. Yeah. You know, here's one thing you can do when you get this laptop to literally make a huge impact on performance. And I was like, man, this is going to be an awesome video. Not only is it like an interesting topic, it is super helpful for people who are looking for entry-level gaming laptops. Let's totally do this. I thought maybe, you know, SEO opportunity would be really good too, because you would think a lot of people searching for it. A video shit the bed. Yeah. Can we cuss here? Yeah. No, okay.
A couple of times. Yeah. Okay. We're good. I consider us a PG-13 stream. So yeah.
So yeah, and the video, it's a really good video, and it went nowhere because like that kind of buyer is not going to be looking up reviews on YouTube. So it was you know, like a real gut check of like, man, that really sucks.
Yeah. No, I've experienced the same thing. There's a difference between, because I've done videos both ways. Scrappy PC builds, where it's like, I've got $400, I want to build a gaming PC. What doesn't work very well is brand new hardware, is going out and buying the $150 graphics card and the Intel Celeron or whatever, and the cheapest motherboard you can find, because every time you put it together, you're blasted in the comments about, that was a stupid decision, I would have gotten something else, or no one's actually buying these or building that, or, you know, the graphics card you chose was built so Lenovo can have a graphics option and their slim desktops OEM, and no one's actually buying those. And but if I do a $400 scrappy used build and I find parts on eBay and Craigslist and Marketplace and things like that, those videos do crazy good because there's a little bit more knowledge in that segment than there is someone trying to, I want to go to Amazon and build a $400 PC versus, hey, I have enough knowledge, I want to put all these parts together, I've got $400. The video is the same, but it's two very different markets.
I would also say like that also taps into people who love the fear, or not the fear, the thrill of the hunt, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like just going to Amazon and trying to, you know, piece something together. Like, yes, maybe you can find a deal and you're like, ooh, sweet. But if you're searching for used, you're just like, oh, dude, I saw this person who's willing to, you know, part with this GPU and has no idea that like it's undersold. So like it appeals to people. That I think that video appeals to people even who aren't looking to do the same thing.
Right.
That's fun. Yeah. Good idea. I don't mess around too much with used stuff. I wish we did. Like we have so much new stuff coming in all the time that it's hard to do that. Except for I did find we haven't done this video yet, but every once in a while here in the Bay Area I'll find like on the side of the road a computer. Somebody will just leave a computer on the side of the road. Gordon famously found one with a 1080 Ti in it, I think it was.
Yeah.
And like so like I have a couple PCs that I found on the side of the road and wanted to do something with, but just never enough time in the day.
Yep. Anyway, today's video does have a sponsor, and we're at the 30-minute mark, so we might as well get to that. Today's episode is brought to you by Meter, the company that is building better networks. Managing networks can be a pain, and as anyone who's ever built out a business network knows, you've got different vendors for every piece of your deployment, from switching, routers, firewalls, Wi-Fi points. Plus, you get to juggle ISPs, installers, and somehow when things break, it's also somehow your problem. Meter aims to change that, delivering a complete networking stack, including high-speed wired and wireless networking, power delivery, firewall and routing, and even cellular, all in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scalability. You pay a predictable monthly cost, Meter supplies you with the hardware you need, and will keep everything up and running. The hardware, design, installation, monitoring, even dealing with your local ISPs to get you the best rates on your internet connectivity. You get enterprise-grade switches, Wi-Fi 7 access points, and fully managed security appliances all tied into a single cloud-based dashboard that gives you visibility into your entire network stack. Best of all, there's no upfront expenses. When you sign up with Meter, they supply all of the hardware your business needs and will automatically upgrade your hardware as time goes on, ensuring that your users and your business always have the tools and connectivity they need. Whether you're starting up a new business, adding new offices, or simply need to upgrade your existing network, go to meter.com/craftcomputing and book a demo today. Again, that's meter.com/craftcomputing, and a huge thanks to Meter for sponsoring today's episode.
Huge thanks to Meter. Wow. That just blew me away. Number one, your read, super smooth, super professional. Number two, Meter. Wow, I've never heard of them before, and I'm just blown away.
They're pretty cool, yeah. I mean, from the perspective of like, who goes and watches networking benchmarks, network engineers, who actually needs to build out business networks, usually not networking people. And so if you don't have an IT staff and you simply need to go, look, I know I need Wi-Fi and I know I need internet and I know where I need internet, but I don't know how to do it, you can book with Meter. They will bring in the hardware, the infrastructure. They even deal with low volt cabling. They will run infrastructure cabling in your buildings, hiring local contractors, dealing with your ISP. By the way, this is not part of the pitch. This is just what turned me on to actually pitching Meter is the idea that as a small business owner, you can pick up a phone and go, okay, cool, network in a box. It's done. And it's managed from now on.
Dude, yeah, like ease of like setup and installation and management. Like it's underrated. I don't know the right word for it because I feel like so many people like discount like having something that is just so easy to put together and manage, and that's across everything, right? Yeah, like even a gaming PC. When I think, and I know we don't want to talk too much about Steam machines again, but like I think that is the appeal of it, is like it's a PC that you can put in your TV or under your TV and just play games. Not worry about settings, not worry about this hardware is underperforming compared to something that I could build at the comparable price. It's like, no, that's the idea. Like the glory of the Steam Deck showed us that the underpowered hardware is completely fine when it's paired with an amazing experience.
Absolutely.
So,
speaking of the Steam Deck, I did want to touch a little bit on, is this the year of the Linux desktop? Obviously, you've been doing your Dual Boot Diaries podcast.
I'm a Linux expert now.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to give you a little preview because earlier this morning we recorded the episode coming up. It always releases on Fridays, so we already recorded this episode. But look at this, you're getting it here first. Talking Heads people, subscribe over at the Full Nerd Network for Dual Boot Diaries or Dual Boot Diaries anywhere you can find a good podcast. I installed and configured my very first VM ever in my life.
Look at you!
And it was Windows inside of Fedora.
Ooh.
So I'm an expert. Like you
fancy.
Yeah, like it's just all of a sudden. No, actually, so yeah, that is the whole reason why we're doing this podcast, is to literally have a diary of our experiences. And I know, like, I'm comfortable putting together PCs. Like I consider myself a nerd in a lot of ways. I'm not the nerdiest,
full nerd, if you will.
For sure. Yeah, well, but like especially around Linux. I mean, dude, even like command line stuff, like especially before I started this journey, scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like and now, like, I'm okay opening up a terminal and just running some commands here and there and being like, oh yeah, look at this, look at me, I'm a Linux expert.
Honestly, that's kind of where I was even 12 to 14 years ago. Is I was always a Windows guy. I always did a little bit of Mac as well. Like I've always had both systems in my house, and I've switched back and forth, full-time Windows, full-time Mac, off and on throughout the years.
Let's not get into this Mac thing, Jeff. We can't. We just can't. I just can't.
Hold on.
No, please don't. You brought this up when I came and visited, and I was like, come on, we're doing it. Linux. We're talking about Linux here. So
yes.
And anyway. But is it the year of Linux?
Probably not.
I disagree with you.
I think next year has a better chance.
I disagree with you, because the amount of people that have talked about Linux this year has it's been exponential. So like it depends on what you define as the year of Linux. Like, is this the year that the Linux market share is going to overtake Windows on the desktop? No. Is next year? No. Is 10 years from now? Maybe. But like, if that's your metric, we're nowhere near that. Yeah. But like, I really think this year, just with the amount of people talking about it, the amount of people even considering it, like the amount of people who use Steam Deck on the regular and, or influenced by it, is just like, I have never seen such momentum. And I think we're going to look back in the history books and be like, 2025 is the turning point. Yeah. So whatever you want to call the year of Linux, I will call this the year of Linux, because I think this is the turning point where so many people are fed up with Windows. So many people are, having really good experiences with SteamOS. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, people are like me, just willing to try it out. And guess what? I was worried, but when the first distro that I tried was Pop! OS, and I was just like, oh, I mean, sure, like, you got to get used to some certain things. You got to, know the apps and stuff like it. But for the most part, it just worked.
Yeah.
It just, like, for normal desktop usage, like, wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I do fully agree with
the end of Windows 10. Yes, we got a super chat. End of Windows 10. Like, I think that also contributed to it.
Yes, yeah. Jay, $5. Thank you so much. Yeah, hot take. Windows 10 EOL has made this the year of the Linux desktop. Yep. I've heard of so many people switching to Linux because of the Windows 10 EOL. I've seen organizations go out and hot take. I think the end of Windows 10 is probably bigger in the immediacy for Mac than it is for Linux. because a
For
lot
sure.
of the Windows 10 drama has been around businesses no longer receiving updates and critical support and things like that. And if you're a business owner and you've got 100 laptops that your employees use, you're not going to hire someone to go install Linux on 100 laptops and then train your use. What you're going to do is you're going to go out and buy 100 MacBooks and go, there, now I don't have to worry about it anymore. And so I think that's the immediate effect of this. But long term, this also gets people into the headspace of, maybe Windows isn't the answer. Maybe that's not the ultimate solution that we need to be on as a business or even at home or whatever else. Couple of things have happened this year, and in fact, one of them dropped today. We were talking about benchmarking. GN dropped their video for Linux benchmarking. And look, GN and I have had our differences in the past, but he made a really good point in this video, and I really like that he made this point. And it's a similar point that I made earlier of sometimes if you compare too much, you're missing the point. He actually made the outward statement of, don't take the benchmark numbers that we're presenting today on Linux and compare it against our Windows benchmarks. These are different platforms. And no one is going to switch to Linux because it's better performance. That's not the thing that's going to get someone to switch when it comes to gaming. And even GN Steve coming out and saying that, I agree with that, because I would think that GN's standpoint would be performance above all else. Look, Linux has the best performance right now. You got to switch because you need those extra 9 frames per second. And he outwardly didn't say that. In fact, he said the exact opposite. Linux is a platform choice, and the consequence of which is you can play games on it now, and it works quite well. There's some learning curve, there's some differences in what you're going to be doing, but the games play, and they play quite well. And that's what you should be concerned with.
So funny you should bring this up, because I actually disagree with you and with Steve
Cool.
about this point. Because like his video, and he made it very clear, like, hey, listen, yeah, you shouldn't take the numbers and cross pollinate. Even though he did show some Windows numbers, so he kind of said
he
it.
broke his own rule at the same time.
Yeah, whatever. But also at the same time, he said his goal was to say, okay, how do essentially looking at the stack of performance for various GPUs in a different ecosystem. So rather than trying to compare ecosystem to ecosystem, he's like, I want to see how each, GPU performs, or each game performs in that ecosystem. And like we talked about earlier, like, what does that matter? Are we going to see something different than, a 5090 beats a 5080? No, I actually haven't went back and looked at it, and I chuckled to myself. I was like, I'm not good at the math, and I actually didn't. Yeah, like I don't think he surfaced it either. But the I was like, man, if the percentage difference from GPU to GPU was exactly the same in Windows and in Linux, then what are we doing here? That's not the goal. The goal isn't to be like, oh yeah, by the way, a 5080 is still faster than a 5070 Ti.
Yeah.
By 10%. The 10% holds in Windows and holds in Linux. Then who cares? That doesn't matter. Yeah. Like so I actually disagree with that.
Okay.
And I actually think that people want to know. He even said in the video, he's like, people keep telling me they just want to see how it compares to Windows versus Linux. And I would say that's for a reason. People want to know that for a reason, and not because they're trying to find the best, the best of the best. So, hey, this performs way better over there, go do that. Or, hey, what's the best hardware for, going and gaming on Linux? I think what people are trying to find out right now is, here's the piece of hardware I have right now. What am I going to lose or gain by going to Linux?
I was gonna, as soon as you started down that path, I knew kind of where you were gonna land, and the immediate thought in my head is, if I switch to Linux, is it going to be slower?
Right? Or where, like, so so that's why I'm like, I actually disagree with you, Steve. People want to know that because they want to know, what am I losing? Like, obviously, there's obvious ones. The kernel anti-cheat is the most obvious, right?
But that's getting more and more support every day.
For sure. And I'm really hoping Valve has some really, like muscling effort into making that more so. I mean, there's other situations as well, but at the end of the day, I think that's what people are looking at. And to tell you the truth, that's the journey I've been on, not for the gaming side yet, like that for just normal desktop usage. I started at a place of like, okay, well, I have the hardware that I have. Obviously I'm in the job that I'm in, so I have access to a lot of hardware. But like I have the hardware I have, and I have the workflow that I need to use.
Yeah.
People can yell from the rooftop over and over again that, oh, I should try Affinity Photo. No, we have everything set up in Adobe.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Do I love Adobe? No, but that's the workflow. That's our company pays for the license. We have templates. We have all this stuff to work across, our team. So I have Photoshop. I need to get that to work. So how do what am I losing by going over to Linux? Okay, I'm losing the ability to run it natively. Okay, so now I need to figure out, okay, do I need to run a VM? Do I try something like WinApps? Or Photoshop on the web, right? What am I losing? How do I get around these things? I really think people, even on the gaming side, are like trying to figure that out in that same kind of way. And so that's why I think people are yelling at Steve and saying, hey, I want to see direct comparisons between Windows and Linux. And I think that's what people want. Like, why not give that to them, right?
I think that's fair. I think that's a really fair point. Speaking to the Photoshop thing, it was about 18 months ago that I did a series on my channel about I switched entirely over to Linux. I wiped my desktop. I went over to Zorin OS. I switched over to DaVinci Resolve. I set up my entire streaming and editing workflow in Linux. And in that video, I went over pros, cons, difficulties, little software bugs, and the overriding point was, I'm going to say Linux problem a lot. Hey, I encountered this problem within Linux. It may not be a problem with Linux, but if it's a problem with the software I'm running on Linux, that makes it a Linux problem because the alternative is running Windows.
Exactly.
And until you acknowledge that problem exists in Linux, we can't move forward. So quit deflecting blame when someone blames the platform for a problem they're having in software. It's still a problem. But the greater point there is, during that video, I knew that I was not going to be able to run Adobe Premiere in Linux. And so part of that video was I committed to learning and changing my entire video editing workflow, all of my templates, all of my saved workflow elements, all of my plugins. I moved those over to DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve did not work perfectly for me. In fact, the biggest error that I kept encountering was it would play the audio, but it would not display the waveform in the audio timeline. And so your audio timeline was just flat. And when you're trying to make cuts on a talking head video, when you're trying to break a 1 hour video into 20 minutes and you've got to make 38 individual cuts based on the cadence of your voice, that's a big feature to miss.
Yes.
Now I worked through that. I worked with that for a month, over a month before I published the video. And eventually I did have to switch back because I just can't live with that anymore. But I never switched back to Premiere. I installed DaVinci Resolve on Windows and I edited on Windows for the next year. What I didn't publish at the time was I wanted to be done with Adobe entirely. And that means getting rid of Audition. And that means also getting rid of Photoshop. It took me a year and a half to transition my workflow in Photoshop over to Affinity. And I've finally done it. I finally canceled my Adobe subscription probably about 6 weeks ago.
Oh.
I'm free. I'm done.
Nice.
But it's not as simple as, well, the PSD files that you have, they'll open in Affinity. No, because the color wheel is different. All the tools work differently. All the different filters and effects and even just the sizing of things works differently. It's good, but it is different. And if you have an entire workflow that's a decade or more long, you can't just snap your fingers and open that file in a new application. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and you either choose to move over. Like I actually like before the Linux stuff for me, I did make a conscious effort to learn DaVinci Resolve because I was like, hey, you know what? Like I've been hearing great things about it. I just want to try it out. I loved it, and actually I became a better editor. Yeah. At the time, because like it got me out of like, you know, a rut of just doing the same thing over and over again, and I had to in the course of learning new things, like I rethought how I edited some stuff. Now I don't really edit much anymore, so that doesn't matter. But the other example for me is that I used to be a diehard Mac guy, and my very first photo editing platform was Aperture, and then Apple said, we're gonna kill it. Yep. And so like that then I was forced to learn Lightroom because that was the next best alternative, you know, for my needs. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, so like you either have to take it on and try it yourself, but that definitely takes a lot of effort, or be forced. And yeah, there's no one-to-one easy solution, no matter how many people say that. I really hate when people get in the comments and say that too, like, oh yeah, you should try Affinity, it's just like Photoshop. No, but it's not, and you know, and that's okay. That's just okay. Use GIMP, Adam.
Just use GIMP.
I know, yeah, right.
It's the same thing.
Which, hey, listen, I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure GIMP is awesome, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it is literally not the same. So, yeah. So, year of the desktop, yes, I think so. I would like to think so.
I think the year of the desktop is the moment in which it look, Steam OS in the hardware survey, or Linux in the Steam hardware survey, has like more than doubled in size over the last couple of years, in no small part due to the Steam Deck and Valve's work with Proton and Wine and that whole package to make Windows games playable in Linux. But that's not to say that there's not still quite the hurdle in front of people, and that is getting people used to not running Windows, because Windows has been the de facto choice for over 30 years. That's not a small thing that you just untrain a literal generation of people away from.
Also, by the way, all the people that say, oh, but Linux, you know, rules the rest of the world, like actually the market share is, you know, Linux is bigger. And it's like, yeah, but we're talking about the desktop here. Like Windows owns the desktop.
Yeah, so. We're talking about also systems that people interact with one-on-one to do work, not the thousands of servers in a data center somewhere that someone either wrote a script to provision and kills it just as quickly and literally no human hands have ever touched. That's not what we're talking about. I know Linux rules the world, but Linux does not rule the desktop.
Yeah. Sorry, I broke your train of thought.
Oh, no, not at all. I that's a great point. Because there's always but... No, stop it.
Yeah. Also, real quick, Jason in the chat has a good point that I like to bring up. This is why they hate 1 month Linux challenge videos. Linux is a journey. Been using Linux for 5 years, and I'm still learning. And that is why we started Dual Boot Diaries, is because we could have done the same thing, but we were like, no, we're going to go on a journey here, and we're going to show all of the wrinkles of the journey, all the wins, all the losses. Like, that's the kind of content like I felt okay putting out there, and luckily, I mean, the feedback has been pretty awesome. Like people so many people have been like, oh my god, I'm doing the same exact journey as you. Like that's so awesome. So, and not only that, I think that somebody could start our podcast series at episode 0 in 5 years, and still a lot of the same things would apply, because we're talking about what we're stumbling across, and you know, maybe some certain things change, but at the end of the day, we're cataloging the journey. Where a lot of these 1 month challenge videos like are frozen in time, and it's very much like a one stop pop kind of thing.
I do want to push back a little bit on the 30-day challenges is a bad idea. Because
bad idea.
I know the Linux people hate it. they're like, oh, they didn't give it a real chance. If you don't think me switching over my only desktop that I operate my channel on for 30 days in Linux is not giving it a fair shake, I have to make this work. And that's the point that's the position that I put myself in, is I deleted my Windows partition. I wiped it and I installed Linux. And come hell or high water, I have videos I need to publish. I have thumbnails I need to create. I have audio I need to edit. I have scripts that I need to write. I have benchmarking that I need to do. I have video capture that I need to do. It's going to work or it's going to fail. I don't have the option to just switch over to another desktop and, I'll just do my video editing over here still, because then I'm not actually fulfilling the challenge. I'm putting myself in the position where failure is not an option. And the only way to push through is to finish the project. I would not have learned DaVinci had I not done that.
And guess what? It still shows that Linux, for all the major changes it's had, from what I've heard, in the past, it still is not oh no, you just use it and everything's fine.
Right.
Like, in some ways, I actually think for my work purposes, like if I were to switch to Mac, it would have been easier for me to do that than switch to Linux for just normal desktop work usage. Gaming, obviously different. Benchmarking, obviously different.
Yep.
But because Photoshop just works over there for me, like I can get Excel multiple different ways, like as much as I hate Apple, like I could have made that work. And for that scenario, Linux is not even up to where Apple would be, like in being able for me to switch over like that. And so like I do agree with you that it is still a good barometer of like how easy it is for somebody to pop in and just move everything about what they do over to a different kind of system.
And what's cool about doing that is I learned very quickly what worked in my workflow, what just transitioned seamlessly. Like OBS installed. I installed the drivers for my Decklink capture card. I configured all my backgrounds and scenery and things like that. I configured my audio. All the filters worked. Most of my plugins still worked. Nice. And I hit stream and I was up and running that week. It was that seamless. What didn't work is when I'm doing the podcast, I rely on a very specific window layout because I'm capturing different windows at different times, or I'm looking at different locations for... I have YouTube chat over here. I have the web page that we're going to display. So if I switch over to this view, I have that in the center of my screen. The OBS window proper is in the top right. So when I'm looking at OBS, I'm looking slightly camera right, which means I'm looking at you. And so it makes the conversation a little bit more natural on camera. And that's all very specific to make this all flow naturally as my own producer.
And you do a good job at it.
Thank you. 410 episodes down. I think I'm getting decent at it at least.
It's the little details that do matter.
Yeah, so, but the couple of window layout managers that were included in Zorin didn't work for predefining zones or being able to like snap windows to certain locations. And so every time I started the podcast, I would have to manually resize my windows. And also it didn't necessarily save the last position of a window. The only reason I use Firefox, at least on my streaming PC, is for this view. Firefox is just an empty browser for me. I don't have it logged in. In fact, when I close the browser, it forgets all of my history, so it's not going to autocomplete anything that I've typed in. And that's so I don't end up doxing myself and like clicking on a wrong link, and all of a sudden it opens a Google Doc and it exposes my home address or some crap. Like,
smart. Yes.
Yeah, it's a browser that is only used to display publicly available information. And that was very intentional. But when I open Firefox, at least in Windows and in Mac, it remembers the last position that it was opened in and just snaps there. And I'm like, okay, cool. So now OBS will remember that location. I can just capture that location on my screen. Linux, it would open wherever it felt like. and I couldn't define a zone for it to land in. But then when I complain about that and I say, look, my workflow is suffering a bit, or I'm having to take 5 or 10 minutes to set up my window layout, and every time I
Jeff,
open Windows...
you used the wrong window manager, obviously.
Obviously.
The wrong desktop environment. If you would have picked a different one, then it would have been fine. So you fucked up. It was your problem.
It was totally a me problem. So next time, Jeff, pick a different desktop environment or a different distribution entirely, ignoring that would cause other little problems elsewhere with my workflow that Zorin happened to fix. And the end result is, unless you already... The advice that every Linux evangelist will give when... so you want to install Linux. Okay, step 1, pick your distro. No, that's the last step. Learn Linux first. Learn the ins, learn the outs, learn the plugins, learn the desktop managers that you like, learn the software, then find out what they're compatible with, and then find out which environment you're happy working in, and then choose your distro. That is literally the last step of your journey.
Right. And also, like, the distro, like, barely, like, that's one of the things I learned, is that, like, the distro barely matters.
It
like,
doesn't,
because like I remember I one of the early ones that I felt real good at with when I was distro hopping around was like, oh, I really love Ubuntu. Wow, this is great. And then I switched over to Fedora workstation, and I was like, oh, I just really like GNOME, I guess. Because like, for me, like, the distro, the distro matters, sure, in certain ways, but for the most part, I was like, oh, actually, I just really like this desktop environment, and that doesn't matter what.
But
the
now
distro
you know
is, so.
that, which narrows down your distro choice for ones that are native with GNOME, and now we know that, and now I can pick a distro based on that preference. But you're not going to know that as a newbie. You're
Yeah, Linux.
And someone brings up Windows Power Toys with fancy zones. Yeah, that's absolutely what I used in Windows. And my complaint was there was nothing within Linux, or at least like Zorin or the App Store or any easily plug-inable thing to the operating system that I had gotten DaVinci Resolve and OBS and all of my other software, like, already configured and already made the transition. Oh, you need to change desktop managers, which means I need to wipe it and start over. That's not an option right now.
Yeah. Were you using KDE or GNOME?
It was KDE. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Again, I recently switched to Mac. Mac has gotten better. They actually do support window snapping now. So you can... Oh, stop it. You said you used to daily drive Mac. Don't give me that face. I know you. So they've gotten better about window snapping, but it still only does quadrants or halves. But I found a really cool plugin called Magnet. And it's like $5 in the App Store. And it's Fancy Zones on steroids. It's better than Fancy Zones. You can define whatever layout you want. You can have pre-sized locations. And so on the right side of my screen, like I said, I have OBS in the top right, but then I also have Discord in the bottom right. So I have my moderator chat and anything that I need to pay attention to also right down here. But I'm on a 34-inch ultra-wide. I'm on a 1440p ultra-wide. And so I have my YouTube chat as 1/3 of my screen on the left side. I have the Firefox window in the middle third. And then the final third is divided in halves, top and bottom. But then I also have a second monitor that you are on, because that's how I broadcast you. You're a window out here all by yourself.
Okay, got it.
And I just capture the full screen image over there. That's nice. Why when I do expose, you kind of fly up to the top.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can define pixel by pixel where you want windows to land, and you can assign them hotkeys, or have a hotkey that when you scroll over a zone, it'll snap a window to that location. And so I have Control and Alt, and then I have DFGH. And I open Chrome and I go Control-Alt-D and it snaps to that left third. And I do F and it snaps to the center third. And so on a whim, I can just change up the location of everything. Control-Alt and my number keys still do up, down, left, right for half dividing. So if I'm doing my normal workflow, I usually do 50%. So I'll do one window left and one window right. I can do left and right to snap those instantly. I can do Control-Alt-Enter and make something full screen. I can... And so really simple keyboard commands, and my windows just go where they want now, and it's incredible.
That's
it was
awesome.
$5, and it solved every problem about running Windows in Linux, window management in Linux that I ever had.
Nice. Somebody in chat's asking what is the name of that plugin again?
It's called Magnet, I believe. Let me double check.
Or application? Sorry. Not plugin.
Settings. Hold on. About. There it is. Yeah, Magnet. It's from Bootcode AS, and it's in the Apple App Store.
Nice. Yeah, I give you crap about the Mac stuff, but to tell you the truth,
it's
like,
fun. Yeah.
I am to the point where
this guy.
Nice. There we go.
Guy.
Wait, hold it. No, keep it there. Let's see if I can.
There we go. We'll go this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magnet. There you go.
Boom. Right there. So teamwork.
We got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I am hating Windows more and more lately. That like I'm hating it more than I hate Mac.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like for gaming, like for me, like I could see a future where Windows continues to go down the crapper, and I switch to Mac for work and Linux for gaming. Like if I could do that, then like yeah. I mean, or maybe they change things. Who knows? You know, maybe that ship will take a while to turn, but I don't know, man. Based off the whole Xbox full screen experience on the Xbox ROG Ally. Yeah, that was lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm almost there myself. Like I still have a Windows PC upstairs as my main gaming desktop, but I mean, you saw my desktop upstairs. It's just a Fractal Design Terra with a 4060. It's not exactly like cutting edge, but that's my
Terra's
primary
awesome.
gaming machine. Yeah. So I've actually considered, like, in the future, do I pivot away from doing Windows hardware at all? Do I just become, you know, if I'm reviewing hardware, do I just review it in Linux from now on? Because that's where I feel I provide the most value. That's where I'm going to use the hardware.
Right.
Am I crazy? Like,
No, I don't think so.
yeah.
I mean, like, we're not there yet. Obviously, if you look at market share, you know, like it's still, Microsoft has some leeway. Kind of like NVIDIA on GPU side. Yes, they had a ton of issues with drivers early on this year for the 50 series launch, but guess what? Their market share just went up.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, well, you know, so you know, at some point, like I'm not just gonna like wave a middle finger and not cover it for work.
AMD had their most successful graphics launch of all time, sold more units than they ever have out of their 9000 series graphics cards, and they lost a percentage point in market share.
Yeah.
They had their most successful launch ever, and it didn't matter.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
But
we do have a second sponsor to get to.
oh, please tell me about this awesome sponsor. I can't wait.
Absolutely. There we go. So today's episode is brought to you by Verda, formerly known as datacrunch.io. They actually just went through a name change. If you're an AI developer, startup, or a business needing to implement your own AI workflows, you've probably hit the same wall as everyone else. Skyrocketing GPU costs, complex billing, and vague promises about data privacy from cloud providers. That's where Verda, formerly known as DataCrunch, steps in. Europe's first AI cloud hyperscaler built for developers and IT teams who actually care about where their data lives and how it performs. With Verda, you get instant access to high-performance NVIDIA GPUs, optimized clusters for training large AI models, and serverless inference with autoscaling, all without waiting days for provisioning. And starting this month, Verda is among the first providers to offer NVIDIA B300 GPUs, ready to be put to use in your most demanding workloads. And here's a big one: data privacy and sovereignty. With all of Verda's servers residing within the EU, they're protected under GDPR and some of the world's strictest data privacy laws. You get secure ingress and egress of all of your data with no hidden compliance headaches. What's more, Verda data centers run entirely on renewable energy, so your AI workloads don't just run fast, they also run green. With dynamic pricing, you can save up to 50% compared to traditional cloud providers. Scale up when you need, scale down when you don't, and only pay for what you use. So if you're ready to move your AI, analytics, or enterprise workflows to a cloud that's fast, affordable, private, and sustainable, you'll want to check out Verda by following the link down in the video description. Again, that's verda.com, and a huge thanks to Verda for sponsoring today's episode.
Huge thanks. Oh, wow. The EU. I love Germany.
Yes.
I don't know if they're based in Germany, but I like going to Germany.
I don't think they're based in Germany, but
okay.
they have. I know they have servers in Germany. I think Italy. I think, and there's quite a few others that they have. Sustainable power.
Not only that, the data
age?
privacy stuff. Man, the EU really is leading the way in like the privacy stuff, or right to repair, all that kind of stuff. And so like I never thought about like where the data was stored. Mm-hmm. So having it in a place where like there's strong
you actually have rights?
Privacy rights,
what?
like that is actually a pretty good equation. Like I don't So yeah. Thank you to that company. I don't even remember the name
absolutely.
anymore.
Verda,
yes. They changed their name.
Verda.com. Yeah, it used to be datacrunch.io. Same company. They just went through a little bit of a branding change. And actually what was funny is my very first read for them, they were still DataCrunch. Their new site didn't go live until the week after. Oh. And so they're like, you can save Verda this week, but the website is datacrunch.io.
You had one sponsor thing where you said
until November 17th, and then we need you to change the link.
That's funny.
It was kind of fun.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, huge thanks to Verda. Thank you.
Nice.
I've got a second beverage, and I'm going to go ahead and open that. This one is from Brewery Omgang, and they are out of, I never remember where Kansas City, Missouri. There we go.
Oh, wow.
And
Missouri.
also Cooperstown, New York. They have two locations, two brewing locations. This is from the OMG series called the Gnome Gang. It is the Belgian-style blonde ale, clocking in at 9.5%. And the can art on this is just absolutely fantastic. I love the lawn gnome aesthetic, and they're all doing crazy things.
So it's not the KDE Plasma Gang,
right? Yeah. And these are gnomes, not gnomes. There is a difference there.
It's gnome. My wife Lindsay just handed me a fresh Fear of the Dark. It's the only one that I have on hand that I like, so I'll just get a second one in.
She's the best.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah. Well, cheers. Also, I have a third beverage just to help water. I love Liquid Death. I'm sorry.
No, I've got a 6-pack of that in my fridge right now.
Dude,
which flavor are you on?
Black Friday. There was a deal on. I usually get the variety pack.
Okay.
Because the soda variety pack. So it's got the Killer Cola, the Dr. Death, the lime, and the root beer. This one right here is they call it root beer wrath. Yeah.
Okay.
This is probably my least favorite of those four. I switch between the Dr. Pepper and the Coke one. Yeah. Depending.
What's funny is normally I go for like the Dr. Pepper variants. I'm a huge fan of OG Dr. Pepper, and
nice.
You can give me a Pib or a whatever, I'll drink it. I'm pretty
Pibs,
happy.
yeah.
I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to that. But
Same.
I actually really like the lime, the Liquid Death lime. That's probably my favorite.
That was the first one I fell in love with until the soda ones came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, of the not fruity. I guess the other ones are fruity too, like cherry and orange and stuff like that. But
yeah, they've got a cherry, an orange, a pineapple, and a couple others. Yeah. So.
Yeah, good stuff. Not brought to you by somebody. I can't remember who commented on it, but like they were like, "Man, you drink a lot of Liquid Death," and my first thought is always that you're sponsored by Liquid Death, and I was like, listen, if I was sponsored by Liquid Death, I would be so excited to shout from the rooftops that I was sponsored by Liquid Death.
I usually won't. I usually don't disclose back back room or things like this. But I've actually reached out to Liquid Death to try to get a sponsorship going. Never heard back, but it was like, there's some synergy that could definitely happen there, but between us and
yeah, right. I mean, I don't know if I've told you, but my like top watermark for non-endemic advertising is Metamucil. I'm a huge fan of fiber. It is a very important part of keeping yourself healthy for a multitude of reasons. Been on that Metamucil train for many years, and it's not just Metamucil, whatever, just fiber. But also, like, the pitch I want to make to them, I want to roll up and be like, hey, listen, we are your target audience. Yeah. Who else is sitting around for 8 hours a day covered in a desk of Taco Bell wrappers playing games and staring at the screen nonstop? It's us. We're doing that. And you know who else needs fiber? Us. So like I know you're mostly marketing to old people, but really you should be looking at
you need to bring it down a couple decades.
Yeah, you should you should be looking at gamers and nerds, like
it's not a bad pitch.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't think they'll go for it, but they're probably like, we're doing just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the be all end all. If I could get the full nerd sponsored by Metamucil, I've peaked. I could retire.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Anyway,
I've had some interesting sponsors that I've accepted, and we've done some fun stuff with. Like when I do sponsored reads, I usually try to incorporate some humor, comedy, sketch, whatever else. I did one for a plant-based like smoothie additive thing. You've seen them all over, I'm sure, but I'm not going to mention the actual brand. But it's the take a scoop of this in the morning and add it to whatever else and start your day right kind of thing. I did one for them. The instructions for the read were add 1 scoop of this to the liquid of your choice.
Okay.
So I poured it into a beer.
Cheers. And
that was the most vile thing I have ever done in my life.
But it was good for you, Jeff. It was good for you.
It was. What you didn't see in the ad was so I poured the beer. Like there's voiceover going over the top, and it's just like B-roll of like me pouring a beer and then me pouring in a scoop of that thing and stirring it. As soon as the powder hit the beer, the thing just foamed like nuts. Like it released all of its CO2 all at once. It spilled all over the desk. It went everywhere. It took me like 10 minutes to get all of the powder into the cup and for it to stop foaming.
Oh, that's funny.
And there's a shot of me like at the end and then taking a drink. We had to cut it as soon as it hit my lips. And we had actually signed on for multiple things. We agreed to do we agreed to air the first one, and then we said we can't promote this anymore. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. Yeah. The closest one I ever got was Cowtails. You know, the candy, the long. If you look up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the toffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like a. Yeah. What is in the middle? It's like it's like a straw, and the middle is filled with like, it's not a nougat. I don't know. Anyway, like I was in talks to get that as a sponsor for Full Nerd. They even sent us some like new flavors that they had and stuff like that. And then like, unfortunately, budgets changed, and they were like, we want to try something new. We want to get out of our comfort zone. And I was like, oh my goodness, I would love to have the Full Nerd sponsored by Cowtails.
Pre-COVID, like the month leading up to COVID, I was in talks to have Talking Heads sponsored by a cookie company. So we were going to get beer and cookies on the show every single week. And then COVID hit, and they're like, we're going to change our marketing just for temporary. And then the company still exists, but it's a cookie company that's not like grandma's cookies. It was more like, I'll just call them like artisan, like a little bit better quality cookie than you would get. But yeah, they were going to send us like all their new flavors every month, and we'd get to eat cookies on the show.
Awesome. Well, can I tell you something that I got in that is almost as good as cookies?
Absolutely.
or arguably better than cookies.
Oh, well, that's a strong statement. Are you prepared to back that up?
Well, because also like cookie, out of all the sweets, I have a horrible sweet tooth. Cookies are not my like top tier. Like they're like C tier for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I got in the brand new Kensington Expert Mouse TB800 EQ trackball. So this is the brand new trackball. They sent it over for review. Yeah. I literally just got it in. They didn't tell me there was an embargo, so hopefully I'm breaking any sort of embargo. But today was the first. It was waiting at the office. I went in for the Full Nerd. I picked up the package. We actually showed it off on the Full Nerd, and then I brought it home. And today was my first day using it for the whole day. Yeah. And holy goodness. Yeah. So my daily driver has been always the Kensington Expert Works, whatever. And like literally since 2008, I've used one of these or a variation of this. Yeah. Like it started off with the older style one with like the buttons on the top, and then wired.
People may not know this, but Adam and I, when it comes to like mice, are like kindred spirits. Like yes, so much so. I mean, my daily driver, I think since 2016 has been the Elecom Huge.
I really want to try that.
There's a new version.
I know, yeah, with bigger balls. And
same size ball.
Oh, it's same size ball.
But actually same exact button layout, but what they did is they changed all the internals. It now has user replaceable bearings, and so so if you need to swap the bearings out or clean them or replace them or whatever else, they're now on quick release mechanisms. It's still fully programmable and everything. So there's 9 buttons on this, and it's fully programmable in software. So you can assign to the mouse what buttons that you want. On my Mac, I know I'm going to bring this back to the Mac conversation. This button right here is for expose, and so it's to throw my windows out and be able to find whatever I'm looking for. I don't even have to do a keyboard command or a gesture anymore. I just touch the button and I see all my windows. And from a workflow standpoint, that's incredible. Now, this is like one of the oldest mice in their lineup, not to divert. We'll come back to the Kensington in a second, but it's a wired mouse, and it's a hard mount cable. All of their other mice have gone like dual mode wireless with USB-C. They also brought that to the new Huge. And so it's a USB-C replaceable cable. It'll work wired, or you can do it over Bluetooth, or you can do it over RF with an included dongle. And the dongle now slots into the bottom of the mouse, so you won't lose the damn thing.
And I think I talked about this last time I was on here. Like I ordered a couple of those Elecoms from Amazon, and each time I got I ordered specifically the wireless version, and each time I got sent the wired version. And so like I haven't tried to order one again, but and then I went to go order the new one, the larger one or whatever, and unfortunately it's sold out. So like I really do want to try that.
Yeah, they just announced it, and so I think it's sold out because it's not quite for pre-order yet.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I did reach out to them. I've worked with Elecom before on reviewing some mice, and I said, I saw the release, send me one. I'm not asking, send me one.
Right, yeah.
And even if they do send me one, and even if they don't, I'm gonna buy 2 because this is my favorite mouse.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the new Kensington. Sorry, I distracted because I get excited about trackballs. But.
No. So I will say that I'm doing this live on air, but the thing is that I never actually reached out to Kensington. Yes, I'm confirming. I have never had correspondence with Kensington. Okay. The first time so they literally just emailed me. What was it? It was Friday of November. Yeah. So earlier this month,
like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it must have been like maybe I was on just some generic list or something like that. I don't think it was like a pointed like, oh, we heard you love trackballs kind of thing. But then I responded back probably so quick that they were like, whoa, this is weird. Like nobody ever responds back to just a group mass email about a product. Right. But yeah, like they were like, oh, hey, yeah, we just announced this new one, or, we're looking to seed review units. And I just like immediately was just like, yes, I'm in.
Yep.
Yes, please. Yep. So once again, like I love everything about the expert mouse wireless trackball. Like I've used this literally since like 2008. Because for those who don't know, background, I went to school for audio engineering. So for audio engineering, like the idea of a trackball was like I never learned trackball until then. Like it was just like, hey, for audio scrubbing, it's a huge deal. Even to the point where the new one came with a free like 30-day trial for Pro Tools. Just like, okay, well, your market. That's smart. Because like I really think, I bet a lot of this market is audio people. So and then I've always been used to it. Like I don't do a ton of audio work anymore. Unfortunately, like I miss poking around in Pro Tools, so I don't need it, but for work purposes I do love it. So really I I started on it because of audio, but then I fell in love with it because of like the functionality and also the ergonomics. Like I've never had to worry too much about like wrist issues, so like I love it. Anyway, like but there has been some downsides. Like there's 4 on this one, like the classic thing is 4 face buttons, right? And you can assign, it's actually pretty good about assigning different functions to each. You can actually even double up, like so that when you hit 2 buttons at the same time, like what you can do. It has a scroll in the middle, for scrolling kind of thing. But for the most part, that's it. Like they did have like a slim version, but it didn't really add functionality, stuff like that. So one of the first things I loved about this, taking at the new one, taking it out of the package, is that it now has extra little, I don't know if you can see it, extra little like bumps, like almost like a clip kind of system to keep the ball in. Like, is it going to keep the ball in exactly? No. Like if I shake it real quick, like it'll drop out. But for the most part, like it does give a little bit of resistance. Where this one, there's nothing holding it in place.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
It's just literally just sitting there. So that was nice. Number 2, the scroll wheel on the old one was pure plastic, and it made a plastic grinding sound when you scroll it. Whatever, it was fine. But this new one is some sort of metal, and I will tell you what, the smoothness of this scroll, not only that, the inertia, like I can scroll it and go, and it is awesome. And not only that, it has a button right here in the middle. It's like a toggle. You press it in or you press it out.
Is that a declicker for the scroll?
Yes, it declicks it so that you can it's just like an infinite scroll. So you press it in, and it's just this, like, it's not infinite scroll, I should say. Like it does stop, but like the weightedness to it, and you just scroll, like, and I was like, oh, that feels really good. And then when you unclick it, like it goes to a clicky kind of thing. I actually wish it clicked just a little bit more, but it's not like it's not a very like limiting click. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, it's not like I'm like have to press it really hard to like get it to click into the next thing. It's more, like it's more like an audible and like slight
it's a cherry feedback. Brown instead of a kale green.
Yes, there we go. It gives you just a little bit of feedback.
It's a tactile bump to let you know you made an input versus something resisting your input.
Right. Yeah. So that was like the first like immediate, just like, wow. And then across the top, they brought back buttons again. So by default, these 2 buttons are, what is it? Is volume up and volume down is what it is. And then I don't remember what the defaults are on for this one, but guess what? I already programmed new ones. So one of them I have as a mic mute. The other one I have play and pause for media. So like that's, and then that's
it does
have
because this one is my mic mute right there.
It's
the button under expose, and then my far right button is speaker mute, is volume mute. And so if I'm in the middle of working, I get a phone call or someone talking or something like that, I don't even have to find where the video is playing or whatever. I can just hit that button, and I'm don't even have to move my hand, and my computer is muted, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like the original designs that were wireless, when they did introduce a wireless one, it was a single AA battery that like I don't remember replacing that often. Like that
Yeah.
thing would last forever, kind of thing. This does transition to a built-in battery, which I'm of two minds. I'm sure this actually uses more processing than the other one. Like this, maybe they would have had to like do a double A, and then they would have had to sacrifice on like the thickness or something. So like I understand why they went with like an internal battery that's rechargeable. It has its like positives and its negatives. So like I don't know. It's too early for me to have too much feelings about that. But it's also just like at the same time, it's not a huge deal breaker for me. But then it does add a little pocket for the wireless dongle. So it can do Bluetooth or 2.4 or wired. It does come with a wire, USB-C wire. So it's terminated by USB-C here. And even though it's recessed in the thing, like it actually has like a deepness
nice
to it.
Yeah.
It's wide enough that you don't have to just use the Kensington one.
Nice.
I feel like some of my other USB-C cables would probably fit in here fine.
Yeah, I've got a SteelSeries mouse upstairs, just a standard mouse, and it's USB-C, but they sized the port and included a custom cable with like a cover over it, like an aesthetic thing. I can't plug any other cable into it. It's like... why make it removable?
I have Razer does that, and I hate that Razer does that. And it's, oh man, it's so stupid. Yeah. So on the right side there are little buttons that you can change by default the DPI and the polling rate.
Okay. Nice.
On the right side is a slider for on and off, and then also a pairing button. And then on both sides also they added these aren't. Maybe they're scroll. I don't know how to describe this, but it's like a
vertical scroll.
Yeah, it's a roller. Yeah. So each side has a roller, and you can assign them.
Oh,
so actually, and like you can assign them to zooming in and out. You can assign them to like a horizontal scrolling, like on a timeline kind of thing.
I could see a timeline scrub and also a zoom in and out for video editing. So if you assign either side, that's cool.
Or and for some reason I'm actually like all this you can configure in the software. Yeah. For some reason, and I'm not quite sure why they did it, but they actually have physical switches on the back to turn off all the scrolling. So if you want to disable any of the hardware, not only the side ones, but also the middle scroll wheel, you flip a toggle. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know who's asking for a physical toggle rather than the software toggle.
There had to have been one specific customer who buys 1,000 of those that requested that feature, because that seems pretty esoteric to me.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess I don't really care. But like I just thought that was interesting. I mean, either way. Oh, and then also at the very top in the middle, there's now like a little like display. Okay, displays maybe not the right word. It essentially lights up. Let's see. If I plug it in, it'll show like a little battery charging icon. Okay, it'll show like a pairing icon. Like it has like it's more like it's probably like a backlit cutout that lights up depending on what you're doing. So it really is just simple. Not that you can customize it or anything. So it'll just give you little indications here and there. But yeah, either way, like my first 24-hour review impression of it, as somebody who is a longtime Kensington trackball lover, is like, oh wow, they knocked it out of the park with this. It is $20 more expensive. Like this one, the wireless one is $110. This one's $130, I believe. It also doesn't come with the wrist rest. Like this one always comes with the wrist rest. There's no wrist rest included in this one.
Not included. Okay, interesting.
But actually the ergonomics are different. This is actually more in line with their slim one, where like the original one is actually pretty fat and has like a upward tilt to it
all the way through to it.
Yeah, this is actually way thinner. And so I never actually really tried to mess with the slim line or whatever. This feels more closer to that. Like if I had to guess, without putting hands on the slim one, it's probably like in between height wise. So at first I was like, wait, there's no wrist rest? Oh no, I don't like that. And then as I've used it through the day, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
So
see, that's one of the things that I love most about the Huge and why I ultimately settled on that. I'll show you. So I I've used trackballs for 20 plus years, like going back to the late 90s probably. I've been a trackball.
That's more than 20 years, my friend.
Daily driven for 20 years.
Okay.
And then been aware of and used longer. I'll show you the one that, because I used to do the thumb trackballs. And
yeah, never liked those.
The theory is your thumb is your strongest muscle, but your thumb is also the least dexterous of all of your fingers. You have the least amount of throw, and mine especially. I've got some tiny little stubby fingers for my body size.
And also those thumb balls are usually smaller balls too,
yeah,
so you get less granular. Yeah,
exactly. And so I used those for a little while, but then the mouse that settled me on finger tracks was the Logitech TrackMan.
Yes. Okay. Yep,
this is the one that settled me on this form factor. And really similar to the Elecom Huge, you had the right button up here above your finger. You had the thumb as your left click. You've also got forward and back right there. You've got a scroll wheel that kind of operates under your pointer finger. But this is what I used for a number of years until I found the Elecom. And you're going over some of the features of that. One thing that I liked about the Logitech was the declickable scroll. And so if I just need to sling something, because that, I don't know how you use your trackball, but the way I typically use it is my hand stays completely stationary. I am locked down to my wrist, and in fact, from here down, doesn't move at all. Yeah. If I'm moving a large distance on the mouse, I will just flick my fingers, and I will throw the mouse in that direction.
Yeah, the inertia. Yeah,
and let the inertia carry you, and then you fine-tune it once you're within that ballpark. And that's what really works well for me in this. It works so well for me, I do all of my gaming on trackball too. I'm one of those weird guys that'll frag your ass at a LAN party on a trackball, doubling the embarrassment factor.
Nice. I can't follow you with gaming. I've always just been a gamepad guy, so nothing against that. But yeah.
Vince and Skull are both not in chat right now, but at not the most recent PDX LAN, but the one back in April, we got going on I think we got 15 people into Duke Nukem 3D. And we played to like 50 kills per map, and so we were just going. And awesome. I think we played 6 or 7 or 8 maps. I won on a trackball on Duke Nukem 3D.
That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like when you're really good at something, this is an argument I always had with Gordon, is that like he would always make fun of like controller versus mouse and keyboard. He's like, dude, let's do a head-to-head match with, I'm going to play mouse and keyboard and I'll take on 4 controller people and beat the crap out of you. Yeah. And I was like, dude, listen,
depends on the game.
But not only that, it depends on like what you're comfortable with, because it's not like if I immediately jump on a mouse and keyboard, I'm going to own everybody, because I am not used to gaming on a mouse and keyboard. I've gamed on a controller for all of my life. So I've always argued I'm better on a controller than you are on a mouse and keyboard, because like I am just so used to that, and it's just like I know how to use it. Like it's like ingrained in me, kind of thing.
I can switch pretty seamlessly between even like trackball. I can throw a mouse in my hand, and I'm pretty much just as good at headshotting you from across the map as I am on the trackball. You put a controller in my hand, I lose maybe 10%.
Oh, that's funny.
But I'm still quite
I'm the other
good
way.
on a controller. In fact, there's a lot of games that I still, if I'm playing a Rockstar game, if I'm playing a Grand Theft Auto or a Red Dead Redemption or something like that, I play controller because that's what the control scheme was designed for. That's where all the inputs make sense. It doesn't make F to mount a horse. Are you kidding me? Why can't I just press Y? There's some things that just make sense with different inputs. And if I'm playing a Bethesda RPG, though, it makes sense mouse and keyboard, because that's where the RPG originated. And we press E to activate, space to jump. There's some grounding in the controls that just kind of makes sense. And I've been a gamer so long, and I've owned so many consoles and so many PCs and so many peripherals and everything else. I can just switch seamlessly between them. I have preferences for game type and even developer, but Like, should I only play racing games with the steering wheel and pedals? Because I drive a lot more than I game.
That would be cool.
Right. I mean, I've had a full sit-down racing rig before.
Oh, really?
And I was quite good at that. But I'd argue I'm better on controller than I am on steering wheel because it's a little bit finer input control.
True.
So, yeah. Even though we all have more experience driving cars.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's my. I really like. I really do want to try out the Elecom because like as somebody who has literally just used this kind of situation for since 2008, I'm very curious to switch to another system like the Elecom that has the same large ball. I've tried ones with the smaller thumb ball and just never loved it. Yep. So like I am also worried that like as much as I love this, maybe I'll love the Elecom even more, like the ergonomics of it.
Yeah.
So
the ergonomics and the placement of you put your hand down, and I'm not trying to sell you. You put your hand down, and you can see I've got two fingers on those two buttons right there. I've got these two fingers right here. I can slide one off to the side, and I've got those two. And then over on the thumb, I've got my left click, forward, back, scroll, and it's a two-way scroll. It's vertical and horizontal.
Oh, I like that.
So it's a click up, click down, or a center button press in, so I can still get the variable scroll and things like that.
Nice.
There's also a DPI switch right here, and so on the fly you can also switch DPI. Okay. I leave mine on medium.
Yeah, I pretty much never change DPI. But...
Yeah. But the ergonomics and the programmability is what sold me on this because, like I said, it is so incredibly cool, especially on the Mac. And by the way, the software is written natively for Mac OS as well, so it's not like I had to hack something together. And
probably same thing for Kensington too. Yeah. I bet they.
Oh, I guarantee they have a new Mac applet with as ingrained in the video and audio world as they are. Yeah. But, I've got 9 buttons on here, and while I genuinely need 4 of them, I need right click, left click, forward and back. There's so many other options for things to do on here. And so I left my vertical scroll as a vertical scroll, and especially when I'm in like DaVinci Resolve, if I've got, 7 or 8 layers stacked up on something, I can click up a couple of times, and it's nice to be able to do that. But I've got mute, I've got mic mute, and I've got expose as my other 3 like main buttons to on the fly in my workflow. I use it once every couple of minutes, one of those buttons, and I don't have to lift my hand up and find that button on the keyboard.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. And like as much as I love these Kensington ones, I do admit like being able to the ergonomic, like I naturally rest my hand so that I'm like this, so that this is my left click, this is my right click up here. But like if I want to reach up here, like I am having to reach a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's not like just laying under my hand, which probably would be best case scenario. Yeah. For ergonomics, but yeah. No, it's fun. And also, I mean, the other thing too, if I was to knock against is like, wow, Kensington, it took you this long to make some changes, because they really have barely changed the look and feel of these trackballs. And it's just like,
I had the same complaint for Elecom because I've been using the Huge since I think 2016. It was at least a couple years old when I bought it, and so that's 11 years now. Yeah. Meanwhile, they've and even in the new version, they didn't change anything about the physical shell. It is the exact same. It's the same ball. It's the same housing. It's the same button layout. Nothing about ergonomics changed. But they finally integrated all of the other upgrades that they've been making over the last decade, like USB-C and dual mode wireless and all the other like creature comforts. They finally did it, and I've been begging them for like 5 years. Give me a replaceable cable, please.
My guess, and we talked about this a little bit on Full Nerd. My guess is that the market is so small that they're like, you know what, we don't pivot that quick because like the market is still relatively small. As much as I want the trackball market to grow, I doubt it. Who knows what the kids do nowadays, but I will say that Will, my coworker or my
Yes, yes.
my co-host on the Full Nerd and Dual Diaries, one Will Smith, he started off by making fun of me. Like when I whipped out the box and did an unboxing live on the Full Nerd, he was just like, "Oh my god, you're so dumb. This is so stupid." And then after the show, he hooked up to his laptop and was using it for a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, that feels really nice.
I'm starting to get it."
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. See, all you need to do, it's like VR. It's one of those things you can't really tell people about.
Yeah.
You have to try it to know if you like it or not. Yeah, which is a bummer, but it's also a good thing because once you're in, I feel like if you're even curious about a trackball and you try one, you probably will like it.
Yeah.
But
yep.
yeah.
No, so I Praetor, I think, was the one who made this comment earlier. We're eventually going to find out that all of Jeff's co-hosts on Talking Heads are just some trackball cult.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It's a pyramid scheme.
Veronica Explains. She's another diehard trackball user. Yeah.
I forgot because she sells the shirts, right?
Yeah, the trackball person shirt.
And she also does Linux stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I totally forgot that you had made that connection, and then I've been learning Linux stuff, I have come across her videos.
Yeah.
I should reach out and say hi to her because yeah. You know, we at least have two things in common now. So
yes, she's an awesome person. She's so much fun. She's been on the show a couple of times. I've been meaning to have her back on recently, but just scheduling wise, trying to get everyone trying to get two people in the same place at the same time when you're creators, that doesn't happen often. So
yeah.
That's why we're broadcasting at 3 today.
Yeah, there you go. Which I appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for being on. This has been fun. Speaking of VR, like we've talked a little bit on the last couple of shows, but I kind of wanted your perspective from handheld and a little bit of a VR, person that you are. What did you think about the Valve Frame, the VR headset that they're coming out with?
I mean, from a simplistic. Wow, I've drunk too much. Yeah, simplistic look at just the hardware itself. I have not put my hands on it. We were not invited to go up.
Right.
I have not tried it out.
Yeah.
But taking what I know about the market, they're either the Index or like I have a Quest 3. I love the Quest. Like hardware wise, it looks great. I've heard a lot of good stuff. Like my go-to barometer for coverage for VR is always Norm Chan over at Tested.
Absolutely.
Like he seemed to be real hot on it from, just the design, the weight, the balance, the fact that it plays locally, but also you can stream to your PC, and it does the foveated streaming and stuff like that. Like a lot of crazy smart stuff. So like I think, like we were saying about trackballs, I think it's just a matter of just putting it on and going for it. Like I think from what I've seen, and maybe there's other quotes out there, but like I think they were quoting that it should come in under the Index, right? Or like it should come close to the Index pricing. Is that what they quoted?
Yeah, I believe it will come in under. Because the Index definitely had better specs. It had OLED screens. It had what was it, 12 or 14 cameras for tracking. It had the built-in audio strap and everything else. The frame stripped down to like the basics of what VR is, all the way down to like what we would expect out of the Quest. It's an LCD screen. It's only 2160 per eye. It got rid of most of the cameras. It does inside-out tracking now. It's a standalone, but it's an ARM processor. Like they're making all the concessions to get it down to like the baseline of what you need for a good VR experience. And I think that's the right move. Make it affordable without cutting any corners off of usability.
And it doesn't seem to be a replacement for the index. Like, I think
Correct.
the index
Right.
will still exist in a higher tier.
Yeah.
This is not going to be like the Porsche of
The premium VR
yeah, this is
experience,
not
right.
the premium VR experience. Also, I don't think they're going to try to undercut the Quest, or like, it doesn't seem like they're going to try to sell it, at a loss.
I believe
the
this
way
will
that
come
Meta
in.
does.
Yeah. Meta, the Quest is the loss leader at $500. I expect this to come in probably somewhere around 800. I think that would be a pretty approachable price point. The software, though, was what really, like, hardware, cool. You came out with a standalone VR device that also tethers to a PC in a couple of different ways. It includes a 6 gigahertz dongle, or you can USB-C tether it. I think those are both great options. For me, there's a couple of things that kind of went under the radar in the grand scheme of the announcement. They ported SteamOS to ARM.
Yeah, we talked about this too on the full nerd. I think that is secretly that
is some secret sauce that is going to spread like wild. All of the Android like retro handhelds within the next year could be running SteamOS and playing your PC games because the porting's done.
Right? All your
$300 Android devices that people have been going nuts for, like the Ein Odin and the what is it, the
Retroid Pocket,
the Aya 4 and devices like that. Those could run SteamOS next year.
Right? And yeah, Steam Phone, Gentlestone in the chat, friend of the show, does he mention that? Yeah, as well. Like, that would be hilarious. I think the Steam Deck. Like, my guess is that for the Steam machine is that was the end goal all along.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to go straight there. Yeah. The Steam Deck, they wanted to start somewhere and start that ecosystem going and start the whole process of the Proton and all that kind of stuff. And so the Steam Deck was almost like, and Steam Deck users are kind of like the guinea pigs. Yeah. To say, okay, let's iron this experience out, stuff like that. And really, they're trying to get the Steam machine. That's the end goal. Yeah. I think the same thing applies here, where I bet the Steam Frame, which is it's a niche device. Like, VR is a niche, and also the fact that they're not going to be able to price it like the Quest. It doesn't have any like huge standout features, kind of like the Steam Deck. Like, there are better handhelds out there. In every single metric, there are better handhelds out there. Ergonomics, screen, processing power, all that kind of stuff, right? Yep. But it is still the go-to. Yep. And I think that the Steam Frame, while it'll be cool, is not the end goal. I bet, that like having that whole ARM thing, this is just a beta for whatever their next thing is going to be. What that is, I don't know. But maybe it ties into the whole SteamOS. Maybe SteamOS is actually the whole end goal.
I think SteamOS is the end goal. I don't know if you've seen my videos on SteamOS. I did my first SteamOS video back in 2018. Before SteamOS 2.0 officially launched, with all of the Proton goodness and everything else. I did a retrospective looking back because the the origin of all this is actually Windows 8. Microsoft wanted to go the Apple route and create a walled garden app store for Windows. And they said you would have to get approval. Oh, and we're also not going to allow third-party app stores into our walled garden. So Steam, get effed. And Valve is like the only player in the game ever to exist who could go, screw you, I'll go build my own OS with blackjack and hookers. And the whole point of SteamOS when it released in, 2012, was literally just a salvo across Microsoft of like, do you really want to play this game with us? And magically, within like a month of SteamOS launching, and the Steam machine and the whole thing that went into that, Microsoft went, oh, we're just kidding. Go ahead and install your Steam on Microsoft. It's okay. We'll let you. It's fine. But the message was very clearly sent. And so I did a whole retrospective in 2018 about like that whole dynamic about Valve didn't want to make SteamOS. They were forced to make SteamOS because otherwise they would have lost their market. They make money off selling games, and if they're not allowed to sell games, Valve ceases to exist. And Valve was the only player in the position to go, you know what, we'll just take our market with us. And they gave it the old college try. It didn't work, but it was a message. Fast forward to 2019, and all of a sudden there's some development happening with the wine compatibility layer that, wow, all of these Windows-only games are suddenly playing really well because of like some new add-ons and some new plugins and some new features that are available in Wine. It turns out Valve behind the scenes for the previous 6 years was just throwing devs at open source projects to build up what would become Proton. And when I tested it in 2019, going like, wow, I think 19 out of the 20 games that I tested played. And that was...
Which is a big achievement.
6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And look, that whole dynamic between Valve and Microsoft might have backed off, but it didn't stop. Like, Microsoft wants all the cake to themselves.
Of course.
And so, but the whole reason Valve is on this journey is because Microsoft said, you're not going to be able to play on our sandbox anymore. And Valve is big enough where they're like, you know what? We're going to develop our own OS. We're going to develop plugins where all of the Windows apps can simply load onto our OS, onto our own hardware, where we're going to get 100% of the margins. And you know what? We might take a few of your users from you too. We're going to take our party away, but we're also going to bring more people over. And now we have the Steam Deck, and we're getting the Steam Machine, and we're getting the Valve Frame. The Valve Frame has so many cool things to list outside of the hardware. Like, the hardware is impressive from like again, cut everything away. What do you need for a good VR experience? Not what are the comfort items or the, cream of the crop. Built-in eye tracking, foveated streaming, foveated rendering, ARM, Snapdragon Gen 2, whatever. Cool. Hardware is hardware. It plays games. I like it. You can sideload Android APKs and play them Pancake or VR on this box. So if you like playing, what is that, Genshin Impact, sideload it onto your Steam frame and play it in a giant theater. If you like playing Skyrim, cool, you can have it on a 19th device now. You can also install your Steam VR games. And so someone like me who has a library of like 200 Steam VR games, I can simply install them and play them standalone now? That's amazing.
I mean, I still haven't played Alex. I really want to play Alex. But yeah, I haven't yet to play it. I know.
You have homework this weekend.
Well, because I'm waiting for the right experience for it. Like, I don't have an index personally. I'm not going to set up. That's like it
that's
here.
Fair. Yeah.
I have like my daily is a quest, and I know it works really well over a Steam Link or whatever. But I'm hoping that the Alex experience is going to run well locally.
I think it'll work really well
on that device. So
I imagine that was a priority for them, was get Alex working at a native level on the frame.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for that, and I think that hardware can probably power it.
Do you know what went unannounced? That's probably just as big of a deal though, and why I think the frame is going to be a way bigger seller. Think of all the handhelds that have been going for $800, $1,000, $1,300, $1,600 lately.
Mm-hmm.
You can install your Steam VR games locally onto that, and they'll play on an ARM device. You can also install your 2D Steam games and play them in pancake mode on a giant freaking screen.
Oh, yeah, right.
In a package that is smaller than this, which means, what would you rather take on an airplane? This, or...
Well, I don't know. I've actually tried to do that before. Play VR on an airplane, or even the AR glasses. But like a headset, some sort of like thing strapped to your face, and like I like the idea of it. It's never worked out quite well.
Yeah,
but I like the idea. Also, this makes me think a couple things. I think this also. I wonder if this will crack the Mac nut. What if all this ARM stuff is to try to really get like actual gaming on a Mac? That's, because really, once again, their goal, really the end goal, they just want to sell more games on Steam.
Yeah.
And what, like, Windows, cool, they already own that. Linux, they're pushing that forward as a viable option. Where do they still struggle? It's Mac.
I hadn't even considered that, but you're absolutely right.
I didn't think of that till right now either.
In fact, I talked to someone recently about the reason Mac doesn't have all the same additives and benefits of all the Proton and Wine development is because Apple doesn't support Vulkan. They support Metal as their base API. And all of the Proton stuff converts DirectX and OpenGL and all the other calls into Vulkan calls.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work on Mac. But if they've already translated all of that over to ARM, a Vulkan to Metal API can't be that difficult. I mean, quite honestly.
I don't know, but
I say that as not a developer, but I imagine...
I have no idea.
Look, they've come this far with DirectX to Vulkan on non-Windows environments. I can't imagine that Apple being as supportive as they are to devs, doesn't have the toolkit out there to be able to implement, a translation somewhere.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
You
hey,
might be right.
Right? Yeah. So then it's like, oh, okay, well then you can buy Steam games everywhere. And then the last question is, if they literally can make inroads on Mac and and phones, Linux, Windows, they're everywhere. When do they become the bad guys?
When they start going anti-consumer, but so far that's the only reason that Valve gets a pass is because they tend not to be that anti-consumer. I mean, in some regards, yes. Like, all billionaires are bad. But the day they announced the Steam Machine and the Steam Frame, Gaben took receipt of a $500 million yacht. All billionaires bad, like unequivocally. But they don't treat their customers like crap. They're not sideloading AI into everything simply to appease shareholders. They have a good return policy. You can demo a game for up to 10 hours or 2 weeks and get a full refund, no questions asked. They do sales 2, 3, 4 times a year that, make everything affordable for gamers. They make good hardware. They make good games. They're not EA where they're trying to jam microtransactions into everything. They're not buying up studios just to close them. That's why they get a pass.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple like you don't own your games, right? It's not like GOG, where they're like actually actively doing preservation efforts.
Right.
They're not doing that. I wish they did that. Also, like supposedly, at least on the dev side, the devs do not like the cut. 30% until you reach a certain,
right.
Like supposedly that's like a lot of devs say that too.
A big hit, and Valve is for all intents and purposes the only game in town if you want your game published outside of like taking an exclusivity deal from Epic where no one will buy your game because no one buys games on Epic.
Yeah.
And
maybe
also, we could launch on Origin. Oh wait, maybe
yeah.
we could launch on Usoft. Oh wait, maybe we could launch on
Usoft. I like that. No, but then also the other thing too. What do we always say on like why do people really hate Nvidia, even though they keep buying them? Whatever. Right. It's a monopoly. Like they literally command the largest part of the market, over 90%. Same thing with Steam. Would it be better if Steam had a competitor? Yes. Like, does that automatically make Steam the bad guys? No. But I don't know. I just, in the back of my head, I still have that feeling of like it's always that thing of like you're the good guy. You live long enough to be the bad guy or whatever that quote is.
Here's the interesting thing though is. Look, if a game is available on GOG, I buy it on GOG. I don't even consider Steam. I will look at GOG first if I'm buying a new game. I have 700 games on GOG. I have like 1,800 games on Steam. But,
do they work on your Steam Deck?
Yes, because they don't disallow you to sideload a game or an executable. It takes a little bit more work unless you install Lutris, and then it's literally a point-and-click affair. But they don't disallow Lutris on their devices.
Actually, side note, didn't I just hear that Lutris is dead? I thought I heard somebody in our Discord say that Lutris was like, they just announced that somebody's walking away or something like that, which would be a bummer. But
I did
side note.
That.
I should have looked that up before I side tangent.
No, that's fine. I hadn't heard that, but I'll certainly look that up because that would be definitely a blow to the community if that happens. But Valve gets a pass because while they are the 90% shareholder, while they are the de facto monopoly, while they are the pay-to-play if you're a developer, and 30%'s a pretty sizable cut, that's no bigger cut than any other app store is taking. If you go to Apple or Google or whoever else, they all take 30%. That's the price of, playing the game. They also are pretty open as far as, look, if you want to use someone else, even on our hardware, here's a desktop, go for it. They don't care. And they're not trying to lock you in.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah,
yes.
They do a good job at locking you in through offering you pro-consumer deals and sales and good hardware and good experiences. They're not doing it anti-competitively, though. And when that switches, that's going to be the problem. And it very well could switch at any point in time. Gaben could say, I like Scuba more than I like Valve. And sell it off to some, investment firm or whatever else. And then we're going to have a problem. But Valve gets a pass because they haven't done any of that.
True. Very true. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that they are the bad guy. It's just, It's always one of those things where it's like, oh man, like everything's doing so right. Like, who knows? Maybe it's when Gabe finally decides to retire and somebody steps in and it's like, oh, it's a money guy, who knows? But
some finance bro, some crypto.
Yeah, who knows?
Crypto AI bro. Yeah.
It's just like, or who knows? Maybe that's just my trauma of like always having that in technology, right? There's always like, oh wow, it's a awesome startup, I want to support the little guy, and then the little guy gains more traction, and then they start to take market share, and then they become the big guy, and then they rule everything and with an iron fist. And it's like, I've read this book before. I've seen this movie before. Yeah. And so I'm just waiting for Valve to make that turn as well. But
yeah. Well, cool. On a side note, I was talking to my wife right after the announcement of the Valve frame, and I said,
real quick, Steam frame.
Sorry.
Are you saying that intentionally? Okay, yeah, because
No.
somebody in the chat's like, hey, not to be pedantic, but it's the Steam frame.
That's fair. That's fair. Steam frame, yeah. I'm not doing it intentionally. In fact, I call it the Steam machine. I don't know why I kept calling it the Valve frame.
I say just keep doing it to,
You know what? Screw that one guy in particular. I'm going to be pedantic.
The haters.
Yeah. Contact James Miller if you have any complaints.
There you go. Yeah. Mikey. He goes by Mikey. Actually. His friends call him Mikey.
Exactly. But I told my wife, I'm getting at least one of these, if not two. Like, we have two Quest 2s, and my kids play VR all the time, and we've got a full VR library, both PC and Meta.
Oh, nice.
And Vacation Simulator and Arizona Sunshine and all the classics. Plus, like I said, I've got like 200 games on Steam VR, and I have incentive to keep a device around that can run them. And I said, I'm getting this. And and she goes, are they sending you one? And I said, that's not what I said.
Yep.
This will be in our house day one of its launch. Like, I'm getting a Steam frame.
I was lucky enough to pre-order the Steam Deck and like I think I got mine like a week and a half after launch.
Yeah.
Like, I was in one of those early waves, and I was just like, oh, thank goodness.
I didn't get quite the very first wave, because it launched. They started shipping in like February of 22 or something like that. I didn't get in the first wave, and I didn't receive the email. And I actually had one of my viewers reach out and go, hey, I just got the email that mine is coming in. Do you want to just buy it off of me? Just
nice.
You pay for it and you can have it. And I said, yes, I will move up in line to do that. The day I placed the order with them, my email came in. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say no. And so I placed the second order as well. Within like 2 or 3 days of each other, both of them showed up. And actually, Rhett got my second Steam Deck. I gave it to him.
Nice. Oh, okay.
And he still jams on that. So
yeah,
it all worked out.
Yeah, good.
So what happens when you try to cut in line is...
yeah. When somebody tries to be nice, you say, well, now I'm going to get two.
Yeah. I'm surprised that after, like, I've gotten the full video with this, and I've got the full AI video on the channel that, when we were talking about trackballs, no one made the joke like, he likes it. Hey, Mikey.
He likes it.
The old Life commercial hasn't come up at all.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
All right. I guess anything else before we close? Anything you want to plug that you're working on? Anything you want people to go see?
I mean, the like I said, I've got the interview with the Intel Performance Lab person up on the channel, on PC World channel right now. There's a couple more interviews that are actually going to go live the rest of the week. So nice. That was good. Yeah, not a ton through the end of the year. Like, this is always like triage of just like, okay, how many days left? What can I get done? I'm working on some
December starts
other...
on Monday, by the way.
Don't remind me. Yeah, so
Sorry.
I've got some other big projects, but then also just CES. Like we're knee deep in CES planning and all that kind of stuff, and I actually have a bigger project that I'm working on that we're hoping to launch in February. It's something I'll talk to you offline about too. So it's something I've been needing to do for a while. Nice. I will say I sat down with the CEO of Ventiva. Do you remember Ventiva? The alternate they want to kill fans. Like they have an alternative solution for cooling inside of a laptop. Yeah. Well, so Frore is the one that has MEMS technology, so it vibrates.
Yeah, the
Ventiva uses like a ozone.
Current,
the ionic one.
Yeah.
So actually, they're here in the Bay Area. So I did a trip down to their offices, had a really long interview with the CEO, just asking a ton of questions. That video is finally going to be ready for launch, hopefully sometime in the next couple of weeks on the PC World channel. So, it was a really good chat, and I expect them to launch stuff like at CES. I think we will see our first laptops equipped with Ventiva technology at CES. So, this is going to be a good time to get in on that. So nice. Please go watch that once it launches.
Because they've been talking about that for like 3 years, I want to say.
Not Ventiva, Frore. So Frore was the video that the only video that Gordon ever had that was a viral hit.
Okay.
It just hit immediately 1 million views after CES 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because people were interested, right? Having a new cooling technology is awesome. Yeah. And they are still doing awesome stuff. I do believe in that technology. The problem is that they just have no design wins to speak of. I have a theory why. I still think they will come to market with some mass market stuff. But Ventiva, I think, will hit beforehand, because I think they've been actually working on this a lot longer in the background. Okay. I think Frore came out hot with our video. And they were ready for it, where Ventiva was actually already working on stuff, and so they came out late, and they have something that will be quicker. Not that it's in a better product. I think it's just different use case for it, kind of thing. So Ventiva first was shown off at Dave 2D had an exclusive video in December of last year, and then we got to see them at CES, and it just kind of hit the ground running on the year. So I'm excited for that. yeah, good times. And then full nerd, like the last 2 episodes of the year, which happen on every Tuesday. So what is it? It's going to be the 16th and the 23rd, or our end of year episodes, where on the 16th we'll be doing like a best of, where like we debate live on the air the best PC hardware of the year. Ooh, always a good time. Really good debates, like whatever. It's fun times. And then the very last episode, we look at the predictions that we made last year, and then to see if we're right or wrong, and we'll eat our words if we're wrong. We actually have like punishments, and then we make new predictions for the next year, which then we'll go and judge the next year. So those are always fun. Those are always our most watched or listened to episodes, because they're fun. On the Dubo Diary side, like we've never had a end of year thing, kind of thing. Also, it doesn't really fit. Like it's just not like news based or anything like that. So I think we have some stuff coming up, but nothing crazy over there. I just, once again, if you want to hear just some raw journeys of people trying to use Linux, then please go subscribe at Dubo Diaries. But it's fun stuff. So glad to have you on, and I will see you at CES. I think that's the other major one. And we did do a couple videos when I came visit you. Those will be going up in that week before CES. Nice. Like the when we're off. So I have 2 videos from you and 2 videos I did with Wendell at the ITT thing. Oh, nice. So excellent. So I always like banking on some just fun interviews for the holiday break. So. Nice. Talking Heads going to continue as usual, at least for the next 3 weeks. We've got Wednesday the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. Sometimes we break over the next couple of weeks because it seems without a doubt that Talking Heads will always fall like on Christmas and on New Year's, and I'm sure you understand from like a weekly show perspective, because they're 7 days apart. It always sucks. Mm-hmm. This year it's Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and look, not only am I not finding hosts for that, I've got other plans. So we're doing the next 3 weeks, the 3rd, 10th, and 17th, and then I think we're going to schedule a show on the 29th. So we're going to hit like in the middle of the 2 weeks. That's a Monday. That's a good idea, actually. And so we'll still have a full 4 episodes in December. So stay tuned. We'll be announcing those as we kind of get those dialed in. But I think I already have the hosts scheduled for the 29th. So I think we're that schedule is set, I think. Nice. A lot of fun stuff coming up on the channel. I've got some more content scheduled around the X79 multi-cloud, the 8-node build that we're going to start to see some names as we roll out some of those nodes. Nice. So stay tuned for those. I have an idea that is so absurdly simple, I wonder why no one has done it before when it comes to my cloud gaming series. And that is abandoning virtualization and just running straight bare metal, but with multi-user, and splitting your hardware without actually having to split your hardware. I have an idea on how to make it work, where you can have like 4 users to 1 computer on 1 graphics card. Without virtualization, running bare metal. So none of the overhead, none of the configuration, none of the driver hacks, none of the anything else. I have it like mapped out in theory on how it will work and whether or not it works in practice, but we're going to do a video on it regardless. Oh, that sounds fun. So that's a little bit of a teaser moving into December. This weekend, I think I have a server build coming out as well. So I talked a couple of weeks ago, I'm going through like a revamp of my server rack, and one of the first major changes is coming up. We're doing a lot of consolidation, and you're going to see something old and something new coming into the rack. So nice. Should be fun. Nice. Fun times abound. Yeah. Thanks again to Meter and Verta for sponsoring today's episode. Links are down in the video description, as well as links on where to find Adam and all of his various forums, both on PC World and the Full Nerd Network.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Drop this video a like. And if you want to take part in the super secret after show, think about joining the Patreon. Link is also down in the usual place. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can chat with all of the hosts from Talking Heads, including one Adam Patrick Murray. He hangs out there every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Thank you so much, Adam. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, not only is it a good time, I love hanging out with you, Mikey. You're a great guy. Like Mikey, I just really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you all so much for watching. As always, we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.